is about WeChat-like app for helping elderly with a family far away. And our topic is about WeChat-like app, and we used in the elderly. The region is Sichuan province, China. And here is some background. In China, we have health QR code and the venue code. The health QR code is to present the user with no current risk of COVID infection and no risk of disease infection to the population. And the venue code is designed to record the places users arrive at. And when there is an outbreak at this place, they can inform users who have been there before about the risk of the infection. Depending on the level of risk, users are classified green code, yellow code, and red code. Also, when entering a public place, we need to have a 48-hour normalized nuclear acid detection report, and this result will be present on the health code. And here is, as you can see, the steps for claiming for the health code and the nuclear acid QR code are complicated. It requires a lot of personal information and may need to be replied the next time you use it again. So the challenge for the elderly is as follows. During the panic, children are unable to accompany the elderly very often. Also, teenagers nowadays are more familiar with the WeChat, the social media application, but the same premise may not apply on the elderly. Elderly people are slower to understand new things. They may not have the technological literacy to operate this app. So some elderly people do not know Chinese characters, and some elderly people have poor eyesight. They can't read the very small words on their smart cell phones. So we made the WeChat-like app. This app has two interfaces. One is for the elderly, and the other is for the children. And the WeChat for the elderly has two functions. When they open the WeChat, they can choose a scan QR code or show QR code. If they choose scan QR code, the elderly scan the QR code with the app. Then the app will broadcast the use of the QR code, and the operation process, such as the need to fill in the personal information, will be automatically synchronized to the children's cell phones, and remember the children to fill in the information for the elderly. If they choose the show QR code, it will show the QR code that the children has already applied for them to help the elderly enter the public set. Well, the WeChat-like app for the children is to account bonding with the elderly. When the elderly scans QR code, the app will transmits the required form to the children's app interface, so children can fill the form for the elderly. Also, they can help their elderly apply for the health QR code remotely, like the picture below. Also, we reserve the snap-like app moments synchronization function to accompany the elderly. The app could follow an end user to take a moment of their status and send it to another end user, such as the grandparents. The receiver is not required to open the application, not required to press in a specific conversation log. The moments essentially would appear at the home page or lock screen of the receiver. And here is our showcase. Thanks.
Thank you very much, team. So right now, judges, if you have any questions, once again, please raise your hand and I'll assign for the questions. So judges, the floor is open now. Any questions from you guys? Okay, I see a question from Ms. Klassen. Please go ahead.
Thank you. So in terms of cost, budget, if I hear of apps and integration, I always think it's very expensive. Maybe you've done some costing and budgeting to look at the cost. Can you please maybe give me some good news on your budget?
So team, any insights on their financial or cost, any plans?
It's sorry, my internet is poor. We based on the WeChat, so we do not need much budget. We just need to we just need to modify it to a function that could be used for elderly.
Is there no cost involved for that? Is it not costing you anything?
Yes. No. We still need cost. How to say?
Thank you.
Okay, no problem. If you cannot translate your answer, you can type it out as well from any of the team members if you need any assistance. So I guess regarding Ms. Klassen's questions, maybe we'll have later feedback with the team if they can address it. I also see a question also from Ms. Trella Barreto that you want to ask. Please go ahead.
Hi. Yeah. My question is similar to the same one I asked the previous two groups who mentioned accessibility features for elderly. I am not familiar with WeChat, so maybe you can explain it a little bit to me. But will elderly be able, you already mentioned in your presentation that elderly tend to be a little slow when it comes to learning technology. How do you adapt to that? Thank you.
So Yishan, or a member from the team, any answers regarding this question? If you need translation help, please also.
We don't need we don't need elderly to know these things. We band the children's account with the elderly account. So when they do something, if it need to fill in the form or do something, their children can know it from the remotely on this app. So the children can fill in the form remotely, or can apply the QR code for the elderly, so they don't need the elderly to do something. They just need to scan the QR code. The information will be transmitted to the children's cell phone.
Okay, thank you.
Also,